I've had some time to think about my review on Darkside Blues, and I thought about if I was too hard on the film. I mean, yeah, the film's story was ramshackled together from 3 different disparate plots, and it had the narrative consistency of month-old milk, but the art was pretty and the animation was exemplary of the period. So was I too hard on Darkside Blues? No. No, I wasn't. Let's face facts here. As pretty and technically commendable a film can be, if their story is awful, then it's only casting pearls before swine. Yes, film is a visual language, but what is that language telling us? A story, a thought, a frame of mind. It's imparting upon the audience a worldview that it desperately needs to tell, be it through a traditional 3-act structure narrative or an experimental montage of sight and sound to convey raw human emotion. And all we're asking from them in return is that their worldview should not be the equivalent of a pale-faced nervous wreck shitting himself on stage. But I can at the very least say that it has merit. It has a reason to exist. I can't say the same thing for Sailor Victory. Oh yeah, I'll be the first to admit that it's unfair as hell to directly compare the two as they have nothing in common with each other, but since I've watched both of these back to back, the pain is still fresh in my mind. Get a load of this. Sailor Victory here is not what it appears to be. You're probably thinking, okay, a show where robots are piloted by schoolgirls in sailor outfits, and you'd be right, but you're not right. Okay, just let me explain. Yeah, the show's about schoolgirls in sailor outfits piloting ninja robots, but this was meant to be a parody of a number of anime titles, and what's weirder is that this is a spin-off. Sailor Victory is based on the anime Graduation, about these same characters going through a coming-of-age story. So imagine, if you will, there being a sequel to The Breakfast Club, and it features Molly Ringwald getting into the freaking Megazord. And that sounds so much more amazing than anything that Sailor Victory delivers, I assure you. Actually, the most interesting thing about this whole situation is that I can't find hide nor hair of a physical copy of Graduation. Oh, I know it exists, but tracking down a VHS or DVD is impossible. Then I read in a Mike Toole article stating that Graduation never made it stateside, so I'm thinking that's the reason why, but then Anime News Network lists not only an English cast, but a production studio. So an English dub does exist, possibly, but it just never made it to stores, maybe? So why in the hell was Graduation left over in Japan, but Sailor Victory was brought over to the States? Because Media Blasters. You gotta hand it to them. Despite many other anime licensing companies having more money and better titles to their name, they are still kicking around, which baffles me. And then I remember half of their catalog is porn. So what we have here is an English version of a parody spin-off of an anime series that not even Discotech would dare release today. What chance did this realistically have? What made this make Media Blasters spend X amount of money to bring it over here to the States? Well, let's answer that. We begin with a barely there narration stating that this is a world on the other edge of the galaxy where crime is perpetrated with giant robots and the local police are completely unable to handle them. And apparently Kana is a written language here and the buildings have a distinct Japanese design despite there not being a Japan here. Science fiction, proving that human imagination is far more limited than we give it credit for. Actually, I kinda dig the anachronistic design of the show. Buildings, costumes, and certain technologies look ripped straight from the early 20th century, but they also have access to video games, television, and, well, giant robots.
Well, compared to Gion with a sword and Momoyama with a pole, Sagana was severely limited in close fighting situations.
Oh, forgive me if I misunderstand the logic of a drill, but it doesn't match my design concept, Shizuka.
But a drill is a must-have for a superhero robot.
Okay, there's low-hanging fruit, and then there's fruit neon lit like Vegas daring you not to pick it. Fuck, I don't even have to play a Gurren Lagann clip to make a Gurren Lagann joke right now. You're all making it yourselves. It's probably a better joke than I would have made, too. Assholes. Meet the women who are taking it upon themselves to fight the rampant robot crime in their city, and if you were worried that the anime would downplay their gender and treat it as no big deal, don't worry, they treat gender politics with all the subtlety and grace of a neck-deep prostate exam.
Hey, what do you expect from a temp cop who's a dame?
Yeah, we should have hired a man. At least he'd know what the hell he was doing.
And he wouldn't have asked for any special treatment either. The ladies are always looking for some kind of special treatment.
Yeah, you'd think they'd wise up and just be baby factories and stay in the kitchen and make us sandwiches. Hey, Frankie, you ever notice how no one talks like us? Thankfully, the whole room is interrupted with news of a bank robbery taking place, and the assholes are called into action. As we already know, the cops are complete jokes and offer almost no resistance. Personally, I think their incompetence is their own form of protest over their ass-ugly robots they're forced to pilot. My god, they look like they were designed by the guy who did the freaking Spock helmet. Still, this presents the perfect opportunity for the girls to save the day and strip for the camera. Henshin a go-go, baby.
The time is at hand.
Hey! Wait for me! Wait up! I'm coming! Ow! Mommy, what are you doing? I put my shoes on the wrong feet again.
Are you fucking 3? If so, then you got the biggest tits on a 3-year-old I've ever seen! It's bad enough that the anime, so far, has been an annoying waste of time, but what really slam dunks this into pure shit is just how unfunny it is. The lead woman of Sailor Victory tries to make speeches about how important they are, but no one wants to listen, and the fact that one of the bots still has a drill arm is dragged up again. That's the height of humor for this heap. Oh, and the fact that one of the pilots is absolutely useless just makes me want to laugh until I herniate up my own intestines.
Great entrance, Mommy. I didn't mean it.
Alright, you know what's worse than this lame duck character shtick? The fact that there is so much untrampled snow here. Look at the robot literally twiddling her finger on the ground, and then look at the robot's control scheme. You mean to tell me that this setup, which is basically 2 joysticks and a few buttons, are enough to pull off a complicated bit of movement like that? SNK cabinets have more input than this, but look at the kind of movement these robots are capable of. There's a goldmine of physical gags to be pulled off here. In fact, it was pulled off in freaking Project Echo!
There seems to be a basic design flaw. The start lead is slightly out of reach. I'm doing my best.
Oh look! The little brat is worse than useless! She's a coward that runs away! At least when she's not helping by sabotaging her companions by misplacing traps. I think the girls are in trouble!
Hey, you! Mr. Bad Guy! Now I'm really mad! Eat this! That's not in the rules! You can't do that! It's not fair!
Bimbo.
You know what? You're right. You're a fucking sexist shit stain, but you're right. How bad are your female characters when the audience sympathizes more with the cartoonishly evil misogynists? Honestly, is Sailor Victory really attempting to be a progressive female-empowered story? Well, no, because it's supposed to be a send-up of the giant robot genre, but why take this needlessly hateful turn? Especially when the characters are giving the assholes license to be assholes! Even when the characters aren't being total annoyances, they're still just barely there constructs that have no recognizable personality, which they try to cover up with a sloppy coat of girl power.
Finally, a chance to prove ourselves. We stand for world peace and love. And girl power!
So, girl power, in your mind, is letting high school girls pilot dangerous mechs, and one of those pilots is clearly borderline. This anime is about as feminist as a Tyler Perry movie. Realizing that the human squeak toy is worthless, the head boss lady launches her backup plan, which should have been her plan A, a gynoid that looks exactly like her that isn't a complete ditz. And with her piloting the bot, they make quick work of the robber, and the people instantly love them, even though they did countless amounts of property damage, thus bottoming out the municipal budget for repairs. But hey, at least they stopped that bank robber from costing the city millions of dollars! And that was Sailor Victory. One episode of Sailor Victory. One episode. Actually, once you've seen the first episode, you've seen the other. Oh, sure, the girls are now beloved protectors of the city, and this means the police are now desperate enough to turn to the help of a villainess that looks like she stepped right out of Sailor Moon, but the basic structure remains the same. Tons and tons of unfunny, obnoxious shtick.
Yummy, wanna play again?
Nope, not gonna give you any context for that. Just gonna let that scene sink in. Yes, let it bore into your psyche until everything you once were is no longer. Feel it tumor into your brain like a worm in compost, leaving you a drooling invalid capable of only saying your own name like a zombie Pokemon. Oh, that was close. So now Sailor Victory are just riding on the high of being everyone's heroes and wallowing in the misery of the police force, who are taking potshots at their betters.
What the hell is all this damn Sailor Victory crap about?
Hey, let's face it, their machines are better than ours. These pat robots we got stuck with really suck. We don't have a chance.
Yeah, ours don't even look as good as theirs.
What do you expect with robots named Pat?
Listen here, you dickholes. If you're gonna take a swipe at Pat Labor, then you better not suck like you're trying to collapse a lung, or else I'm gonna tap dance on your face, motherfuckers! Once again, the hilarity is interrupted by Queen Beryl here making off with the city's officials, which apparently was their plan, but she decides to go rogue, surprise, surprise, and she proves to be much tougher than any criminal they've faced before, which means the robot must make the ultimate sacrifice.
Is everyone all right? Mika, Naomi, hang on! I'm trying to! We're not made of metal, you garbage can! We're humans!
Just do it already and shut them up, you shit! Jesus fuck, this is one of the most obnoxious turns I've ever seen! So yes, she jumps at Beryl, creates an opening in her wand to smash, thus breaking her spell and allowing the other three ninja bots to strike the finishing blow, and they all live happily ever after, because they certainly deserve it. So yeah, that was Sailor Victory. A mind-numbing comedy that's about as painful and irritating as a cactus in your shorts, but, oh child, pity on you if you thought this was going to be the worst title of the month, because we may have started with confusing bullshit, and this fuck heap may be annoying bullshit, but this is just embarrassing bullshit. Till next time. Long live your Lord High Regent Sage! Long live Benetopia!